Hi, this is Isaac Mabuso, your Township Business Consultant. Today, we're talking about procrastination. We are going to explore what procrastination is, what it is not, and how to overcome it. Number one, what is procrastination? Procrastination is a habit not to act on important stuff where you push and postpone and lay it for later, only to push it again and postpone it for later. Okay, that is what procrastination does. What you are doing is you become a person who constantly are pushing things away, pushing it into a later date. Now, what I see procrastination it is a chronic illness that needs to be cured. You know, when you have a chronic illness, there are things that you need to do. There are things that you don't need to do, or that you don't have to do, and there are things that you will need to do so that you constantly are staying on top of the game. Now, what is procrastination not? What it is not? Procrastination, it is not laziness. You are not lazy. You just have a habit of not doing what is important instead of doing what is important. For instance, instead of reading a book, you would rather opt for, scrolling on your smartphone instead of focusing on a test, reading or preparing for a test. You would rather sit down and enjoy, television or something else. Okay, so it is not laziness. So laziness, it is basically you resisting to act. So for people, in most cases, laziness even is a challenge to even change the channel on a remote. Okay, so that's what laziness is. You don't even want to change the channel on the remote. You don't want to move a muscle. So let us not confuse procrastination to laziness, because it is not. So procrastination is the lack of will. So you lack will to do something, and instead you find will to do something else that is not important. Okay, if you were to do that business plan, if you were to focus on that business plan, if you were to focus on that profile, if you were to focus on that website, all that will benefit you on a later stage, but you don't. Instead, you find an excuse and you not to do it, and then you say, okay, instead of doing it today, I'll do it tomorrow. Instead of doing it tomorrow, I'll do it another day. And you also develop a sense of not willing to do certain things. Simple thing, an email. If you have an email that you received, and instead of responding to it, you don't do it. Okay, you say, oh, I'll do it, and then you make excuses. Oh, there's no clear, and the network is not as good here, and all of that, and you know that you're already preparing a response, not on a later stage, to saying, why did I not do it? So instead of just dealing with it, you're also coming up with ways of maneuvering on why did you not do it. Okay, now laziness, you do nothing. Okay, you don't want to spend any effort in doing anything, you just want to be lazy. Procrastination, it is an act where you realize this is important, but somehow you don't give yourself a will drive to do it, and instead you substitute it with something that is less important. And as an entrepreneur, it is very important to understand that if you are not doing things yourself, no one else is going to do them. And that is how you find yourself in the dark or outside, at some point, because you find things are moving too fast, and then a year is finished and you did not do what you were saying you wanted to do. Just look out for that procrastination. It is a bad habit that you will develop. So how not to procrastinate? Number one, you need to realize you are a procrastinator. It's like, you are an alcoholic. So you need to realize there is a problem. Number two, you must always come up with a plan on how to do things. And one way of doing things, for instance, if you're dealing with a document, you need to find, how to deal with a document. So what I would normally do is I would say, okay, so if I'm doing, for instance, a business plan, I would say, okay, let me break it down to, a program or a project. I will finish this either in 10 days, 20 days, whatever the time is, and then say, okay, how do I start it? Right. Number one, I need to research. Okay, what does it mean? I need to allocate time for that research. Now, it is very important because you will allocate time, but your procrastinating habit will also try to crop up. So you need to overcome that by standing up, flexing your will, and going and doing it. Because if you don't do that, you are going to fall back on relapse. So just do it and do it at the time you've allocated it. Do not postpone it. Okay. Rather, if you are struggling at something, rather say, okay, let me just find out more about it, okay, so that I will be able to, ease up to it, or ask people about questions around things. The most important thing is that do that which is related to the thing that you want to procrastinate, instead of just not doing anything. Realize, if it is to be, it is up to you. You can, you will, and you are a success only if you choose to do so. So procrastination can only cripple you if you allow it. So you need to flex your muscle and re-exercise your brain and your body to a different habit of being able to do things as you have planned them. Now, if you are doing a document, for instance, like a business plan, you need to allocate time, okay? Say, I'm going to do this for the next coming 25 minutes. I'm going to focus on, my business plan, a portion in a business plan. Let's say you're focusing on, it's a marketing type of thingy. So you focus on that, say, okay, I want to focus on, understanding what is the market and developing my own marketing strategy and all that stuff. So I'm going to focus on it for 25 minutes. And after 25 minutes, you can go off and then have coffee. If you're a smoker, get a smoking break and all of that. And then coming back again, 25 minutes again, and after that, what you also need to do is reward yourself. Find ways of rewarding yourself, and also not to reward yourself if you did not finish that activity. For instance, if you know that you love a certain series that plays on TV and you watch it every week, you need to say, from now on, I'm going to do this work. If I did not finish the project as planned, or I did not do what I was supposed to do as I had planned it, I will reward myself, okay, by not watching it. So there's no reward. I am not getting anything. I did not do the work, so I cannot enjoy the series. So that would be, call it punishment if you will. But if you do it and you finish it, all right, you will reward yourself by going to watch it. And so you find you claim and you have the right to watch that series. And believe you me, it is going to be worthwhile, because now you're not just watching it because you like it, but you're also watching it because it's a reward. You've done something. And that, folks, is how we deal with procrastination. And sooner than later, you will just be a pro and just gliding, and your will just come easy, and you will do all the things that you wanted to do in the time you wanted to do them. And even if it doesn't happen at that time, you know what needs to be done because you have the tools. Ladies and gentlemen, myself is Isaac Mavuso, your township business consultant. That is what procrastination is. And procrastination is, yes, the habit of not acting on important things. What it is not, exactly, it is not laziness. And how to deal with it, let's, buy that apple one bite at a time. That's what we do. Isaac Mavuso, your township business consultant, and that's how we tackle procrastination.